Yeah, I'm not going to turn it into a horror film per se. Might serve better as a documentary.
Okay.
So the first couple of weeks class, we showed up, class called multimedia production, and kind of just expected that we'd be making videos, doing websites, building our portfolio for after college. And Vanavir shows up and he says, the first thing he said was, "This is going to be a little bit different than later semesters." And I was like, oh crap. And he told us about how we're doing this 3D modeling project. I really have no experience in 3D modeling, so I didn't really know what was going to happen with the class. First month, we really didn't do anything, waited for the program to get set up, and once we started doing the program, it was just a disaster. Nobody knew how to do anything. It took us a long time to really figure out what we were doing. We'd be doing things that would cause mistakes in the program, and we'd have to do everything all over. It was just a disaster. And now we're at the end of the year, and everything's supposed to be due, but I'm not sure if it's going to get finished. But we're trying to fight through it. But it's been a hard time.
I was surprised at how much resistance there was in the class to using the package, and just I expected some initial hiccups, but I didn't expect there to be as many problems as there were. It was mixed. I mean, I think part of it. So there were some comments about why we were doing 3D modeling as opposed to video production, for example. And I guess my reaction to that is multimedia production is not just video production, first of all. Second of all, my goal in doing this in part was to challenge students to do something that was outside of their comfort zone. And for most students it was. There were a couple of students who had done stuff before, and so for them it wasn't as bad. But I don't know, I guess part of my reaction was that I was a little disappointed that students didn't take more initiative on their own to go out and learn it. I think that there was an opportunity for that, and again, some students did that. But I think there was a sizable portion of the class that decided that they didn't want to do that, and that was disappointing.
SketchUp is a 3D modeling software that is meant for engineers and architects using very precise measurements and angles, and in that type of work it works very well. But for the average person trying to learn how to use it, it's not very intuitive. I've worked with other 3D softwares and other 3D suites that work much better in the hands of someone like an artist or someone that can freehand things a little bit better because they're easier to use. The way you create things is more intuitive, and my experience with this has been a struggle just because of how precise and exact you have to be with most things. Just because of the background I've had in 3D, I think this is why the buildings came naturally to me, but as someone trying to pick it up for the first time, I saw a lot of what I initially felt when I first picked it up. There's that initial struggle and awestruck of how many things there are to keep track of and to worry about, and the different ways of doing things and just the different ways of creative problem solving that you need to be able to overcome when you're doing this kind of work.
Well, I definitely did not like the class because I didn't realize I was signing up for 3D modeling because it is not in the description not at all. It was definitely frustrating because it felt very unstructured. It didn't seem like he knew what he was doing because it took more than maybe a week or two to even set up the drive that was called Promax that would store all of our files. And we were literally sitting in class for 2.5-hour periods doing practically nothing. Even in the groups we were assigned a building, and then the history kids came in and they were talking about which buildings had more important history to do the outside and the inside of the buildings. And the fact that he said that this was an experiment, a guinea pig class, and he didn't even know what he was doing either, and that was really discomforting because it was kind of like, well, then who do I ask questions? And then, oh, ask tutorials, or not ask tutorials, but watch YouTube tutorials, and then, but it's like, then why am I paying for a class where I could learn something for free? And if this is a one-time project, why are we kind of basically thrown under the bus for a one-time thing that other people didn't have to do, when this class, according to other people, was supposed to be a class to build a portfolio for yourself when you graduate? So I thought that was really frustrating.
SketchUp, a 3D modeling program, modeling software. Involved in a class with Paul Vanderveer, the chair of the comm department, assisted by Mary Alice. When the class began, nobody really knew what to expect other than the fact that Sam Avery himself had taught the previous class, known as New Comm Media. In years prior, the class was used as a senior portfolio opportunity, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to blossom. But as this course progressed, I started to realize that I was f***ed. I had no idea what I was doing with the program. I looked over at fellow classmate Luke Warpus, the chosen one. He had the Life Center pretty much completed within the first 4 weeks, while my partner Alexandra and I began to suffer and struggle, as I also noticed fellow classmate Vinny Romeo, Marsali Knapp, known as Marcy, Joaquin, Kevin DiDonato, countless others. And what I garnered and realized as my knowledge began to grow was that Paul Vanderveer had led us a bit astray in the process of teaching this class. And now, here we are, 3 days left with the due date for the final project being Thursday. And we are currently just wrapping up the final touches on Brockway Hall, Alexandra and I's building. Now, what I have learned from this experience is absolutely nothing. I think it was a colossal waste of time. No disrespect to Paul Vanderveer, he's a very nice guy. But my grade is likely to suffer, as many of my other classmates will suffer as well. Time will only tell what will happen. I just felt that this was something that needed to be shared. Stay blessed.